This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Gordon Einstein, the crypto attorney, technologist, and enterprise strategist. You are the co-founder of CryptoLaw Partners and have spent the last decade guiding startups, enterprises, exchanges, and DAOs through the legal and regulatory crypto landscape. In 2014, you were captivated by Bitcoin and the philosophy behind it, and quickly realized that while blockchain could solve many of the inefficiencies of traditional finance, it lacked a coherent legal framework to support real-world adoption. Since then, you've guided early-stage crypto ventures through complex compliance and regulatory challenges while serving as a trusted advisor to governments and businesses worldwide. You're also the founder of Dubai Tech Tuesdays, a best-in-class weekly business and technology networking event that brings together leading visionaries, builders, and innovators operating in the UAE. You ultimately believe that crypto isn't just about money, it's about freedom, transparency, and rethinking the way we humans organize and define ourselves. Gordon, welcome to London Real in Dubai.
Brian, I'm honored to be on the show, and what an intro.
Well, what a man.
Okay.
So there you go. Look, I want to jump in, and I want to start with what I witnessed last night. I was at this beautiful restaurant called Bel Canto near the Dubai Opera House.
Yes.
There were 300 plus people there in this incredible environment where I guess people were networking, but they were more just kind of hanging out and enjoying themselves. There were things happening on stage and people talking about it. There were some high-level local Emiratis that you were honoring. There was tech people. There was a women's chess club that was there, and everyone's dressed up and really enjoying themselves. And I'll be honest with you, I've never seen anything like that in London or New York City or anywhere else.
Really?
I haven't. Not that vibe.
Okay.
And there were people I met there in the real estate business, and there were other people in other businesses, and they're like, we actually come here because it's one of the few events where there's all these different types of people, Europeans and Russians and Ukrainians, and they're all here, and it's one of the better even events, not just tech events. And I've been to maybe 6 of them at this point. I know you've been doing 43 in a row, 42 in
42 was last night.
42.
But we had the next 2 on calendar already.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't think you've ever missed one.
No.
What's a crypto lawyer doing with this, meetup social event, that's become so huge? Can you just walk us through what the ethos is, why you, and how do you continue doing this tireless effort?
Okay, so I'm going to go deep.
Let's go deep.
So
that's why we're here.
Of course,
London Real.
and I'm a big fan. I've seen your shows for a long time, and it's kind of a surreal moment to be here with you in an interview context. So
amazing.
I'm going to show this to my mom, who's actually visiting from Los Angeles.
Oh, very cool.
She'll be excited to see it. Okay, why do this in the first place? Okay, so I've.
How do you get out of a rat race? How do you create wealth not only for yourself, but also for the generations to come after?
I am absolutely amazed with the quality of companies that we're getting exposure to.
We go on to Zoom calls with the innovators and the folks who are building new applications in metaverse, blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance.
What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me.
We are focusing on early stage investment.
And the quality of people that we're getting exposure to, whether it be Dan Tapiero with 1RT, Jason Ma from Open, Yatsu from Animoca.
It's been a phenomenal experience thus far. It has far exceeded my expectations.
We are focusing on cutting edge technologies.
I view it now as the best investment I've ever made. The upside I view is unlimited.
And as a retail investor, I would never get this exposure anywhere else outside of Investment Club.
See you in the investment club.
Just a little personal stuff. So I grew up with a lot of social anxiety and with a speech impediment. And the way I addressed both was, rather than go hide in a corner, I went to the opposite extreme, which is organizing events and forcing myself on stage. It was like a big overcompensation thing. And part of the idea there was I would just rub that nerve to oblivion so that there was no longer a sensitive point. And so I've been, I kind of got this strategy later, like in my 30s or something, but I started hosting events in Los Angeles. I had a group called Happy Hour Mafia. And we used to do different, every Fridays or every Thursdays, once per week, we'd do an event. And it was always supporting charity. And it's a lot easier to talk to people if you're the host. You're not, if there's a cluster of people, you have a good reason to approach them. You can say, hey, walk up to them and say, hey, are you having a good time? How you doing? So that was my first experience putting events together. And then we can talk about this, when I switched back into the practice of law because of crypto and blockchain, it became necessary for me to work on my public speaking skills because I needed to advocate on behalf of this new kind of law. And so I would globetrot around the world on stage, emceeing, giving presentations, doing, and you can see this all on YouTube. I have a long track record. And so I had to get over the speaking impediment. And then when I came to Dubai 4 years ago, Dubai is a place where if you're bold and ethical and consistent, you can do well. And if you aren't those things, you may do well for a minute, but then you'll have issues. But I was very blessed in that when I came here 4 years ago, within a week I was on stage, working, helping people with their events, emceeing. I just volunteered. I don't charge. I'm a lawyer, right? I don't need to charge to help with this stuff. I just help. I've helped this community so much and built such a nice network from volunteering and just helping people out and being on stage just because I love it. And so past few years, I started organizing my own things, like these occasional lunches, crypto lunches or iftars. I've done a bunch of crypto iftars. But this last summer, I was here. My lovely wife, who we found out we were pregnant. And so the traveling was kind of a little bit lower. And Dubai in the summer is a little challenging. But we kind of looked at each other and said, let's start something new. So on July 2nd, 2024, we did Dubai Tech Tuesdays. I figured I'd try it. We were at Jador, which unfortunately is closed since that time. But very nice management. Just started it, and it was successful, right in the middle of summer. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And so I'm a big believer in taking action. Like I always say, action is the killer app. More than thinking, more than ChatGPT, more than whatever, you need to take action. You need to be consistent with your action. That's the next stage of it, right? Because an action one time doesn't mean anything. You have to keep on doing. So I'm a big believer in iterating quickly, being consistent and iterating very fast. Like you don't go to the gym once. You have to keep on doing it and be consistent with it, or diet or whatever. So I knew that the first ones would not be that great, and they're actually okay. But I guess I'm a little bit self-critical. But every week we make it a little bit better. And what you're seeing now that we're rounding up in our 40s is the result of a lot of work and a lot of improvement. So the format has been honed, the community's been honed, the venue has been honed, the people we let in have been honed, the people we decide not to invite in has been honed. It's been an experience, and we're very happy that you're joining us. And there's a whole philosophy behind it we can get into, but the short, I was actually a little bit surprised by what you said, because in my mind, it's a New York style networking event transplanted to Dubai, or New York or Berlin style, which are my favorite cities. I'm a kind of a Berlin baby, right? So that idea of having a hip but not obnoxious tech business gathering with a certain New York dress code and savoir faire, but having it here, not a crypto bro thing, not a stiff event where that's not my thing. That's not my style, and I don't think maybe it's not yours either. But it's sort of like formal enough that good people come and business happens. There's a dress code. People dress nicely. The ladies are all in cocktail outfits or business attires. Everyone dresses up, but it's not stiff, right? And we bring in a lot of elements, and it's like a goulash.
No, I'd say it's closer to New York than anything else.
Yes.
But also in New York, I don't think you'd have that kind of interaction, because that only, I think, happens in Dubai, where people want to help each other, and everyone feels like maybe they're in a similar boat, and things actually happen. That's what I maybe remember.
I think that's a perceptive comment. So, right, Dubai, you always think of New York as like the immigrant city, but Dubai is the immigrant emirate, or UAE is the immigrant country. We're 80 or 90% expatriates here. And it's Switzerland-like in the sense that wherever you're from, whatever your local beef is, you're supposed to leave it at the door or leave it at customs. And here you're supposed to at least be polite to each other and ideally do business with each other. And there's pros and cons to that. As a politically aware person, sometimes I feel a little bit of internal tension. But I really like their ethic. And I think maybe Switzerland is straight from that ethic. The UAE has kept that ethic. And there's something golden about it. So when you get all these different religions and all these different nationalities and all these men and women, everything in a room having fun, being productive, it's cool. And you're right. New York has a little bit of a biting edge to it. I don't really mind it so much because I have a little bit of a biting edge, and I kind of got that little New York thing, but that doesn't necessarily fly with everyone. Some people are just very nice and they're not from that culture. So we keep it gentle. It's a very family environment. We're up there, my son is 3 months old and he was there yesterday. So it's hard to have a biting culture when you have a 3-month-old baby walking around or being carried around.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.